Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have we had a wonderful morning sessions from the morning today. So we have one more session to go. Rajesh Tedla from US, he's going to join in a couple of minutes. So let me do a summarization of what we have done today. Okay, so wow. Okay.
Hi, Sheikh.
Good morning, Rajesh. You
Good
joined?
morning. How are you?
Yeah, all good, sir. All good. So how are you? Is it too early for you today?
No. It's 7:30 in the morning. It's not too
Okay,
early.
7:30 is not too early. So
Yes.
thank you for joining for the session. Okay, so let me do a quick round of introduction for you.
Sure.
So on behalf of the team, I would like to invite Rajesh Tedla for the lecture. So we are talking about strategy planning and execution in turbulent times for entrepreneurs and SMBs. Okay. So Rajesh Tedla is a founder and CEO of VRT Management Group with over 17 years of experience in helping 1,300 SMBs. Prior to that, he worked in a larger organizations, GE and others. Okay. So he specialized in business transformation through his frameworks, EGOS, EGA, delivering 470 million plus on revenue impact. He also serves as a as a board member for multiple companies and co-hosts a program, Raj and Drew Show for entrepreneurs, sharing tools for growth and leadership. So I attended some of your sessions. It was wonderful. So very insightful and very energetic. So as usual. Okay. So welcome to you,
Sure.
Raj. So
Thank you. Thank you.
it's all your time, please.
Sure. So can I share my screen?
Yeah. Why not?
And
Yes.
I have a PPT here. So
Yes.
just make sure that I'm
You can
sharing this.
see.
Okay.
So you have a share button and then select the presentation.
Yes. So is everybody able to see my
Yeah,
screen?
you can see the presentation in a normal mode.
Okay. So how do,
That's a challenge. Mhm.
so is this okay?
Yeah. Now we are able to see the normal presentation, not in the presentation mode. So how
Oh,
can we do that?
okay. Because on my side, I'm in the product presentation mode.
No, the window is shared is a normal mode. So maybe you
Okay.
can just alt tab and go to the session and select the presentation mode window if it is possible. Reshare
Okay.
it again.
So,
Leave the presentation mode as it is. Don't stop it.
okay.
Control tab, Alt tab, then go to
Okay.
the restream, then share it again. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
While selecting the select the presentation mode screen. That is little
Okay.
tricky here.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do this piece of it. I'll go back and start from there again. So when I'm selecting the entire screen or window, which would you like me to share?
If you select an entire screen, sometimes you may miss the presentation. So you select the
Oh,
presentation mode. Yeah. That's better.
okay. And then now I still can't get this to come to
Yeah.
that piece of it. Sorry about the technical
No problem.
issues.
No problem. No problem.
This
It's
technology
there.
is new to me.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it does not. Okay.
Yeah, your best friend and your worst enemy. That's what I call it, technology. So people cannot see this right now, right? They can't see it very clearly
No,
if it is
we
not
can see
in.
only the normal presentation, not in the slide share mode. Okay. So
Okay.
now you can. You did you do the slide share?
Yeah, I said slide share.
Okay. So now, can you do Alt tab? Can, so
Okay.
uh, so you can go to the restream
It's
window.
Control Alt Tab, right?
Yeah, no, only Alt tab. Yeah. So it
Okay.
will go to the new tab by keeping the same. So from there you can share it. Go to the restream window when you do the Alt tab.
Okay.
Correct.
Alt
Is it possible?
press H. Okay. Sorry, my technical issues are.
No, 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 no. Nothing to worry about it. It is happening. But some only very few. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm more on the Zoom guy, so you put me
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Zoom.
yeah.
I'm very
Actually,
comfortable.
we had Zoom, but unfortunately, we have to change because of some comment from our speakers. So they don't want Zoom again.
Oh, okay, okay,
We have to shift to this. Otherwise, Zoom was our first choice.
okay,
Try once again.
okay. I'm trying. Basically, for some reason, it's
Okay.
not working.
Uh,
Okay, let me go back. Stop sharing,
okay.
and
No, if
let
you
us.
stop sharing again, it will go to the same window. Okay.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay,
just
okay,
make it presentation mode and then try to somehow reach to the restream window and then share it again. Yeah. Is it in your Apple phone laptop?
No, it's regular,
Windows.
basically
Windows.
Windows based. Yeah, Windows
So Alt
based.
tab. Just to press Alt and tab, it will go to the next tabs. Okay. When you press Alt and tab, just together, so it will go to the next tab.
Okay. What do you see right now?
No, now I don't say anything because you have not shared it still. So why
Oh,
you
sorry.
put the PPT in a presentation mode,
Yeah.
okay, and then do Alt tab because when you move presentation mode, you cannot see right anything. Okay,
Yes,
so you
yes,
have to go
yes.
to the window, other window by Alt tab, and then share the screen, which is full mode, full present. Now
Okay,
we
so this
see the normal presentation.
Alt tab. What do you see right now?
No, I see the normal presentation here.
Ah, it's not coming then.
So if you want to continue in this, just minimize the ribbon and then maybe you can try if you.
Yeah. See, because Alt tab is not giving me
So
anything.
select the slideshow from the bar in the bottom bar. Yeah.
Okay, so I have stop screen sharing.
No, no, let
Let's
it be there.
say,
Let it be there.
uh-huh. What do you see right now?
I see the bigger part of the presentation only, but still this is. So can you share in the bottom power the slide share? Can you in the yeah that one? Let us try.
Okay, is this okay? Can everybody see the screen okay?
No, still we see only the normal PPT.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't see that presentation mode one.
okay.
Mhm.
I
So,
am so sorry to keep the audience
no
waiting.
issues, sir. No issues. Nothing. It's not a problem. So you want me to do it for you? Hmm.
Yeah, it'll be great if we can do it.
Yeah.
One minute, just
So you can you share the presentation to me, Praveen? Yeah. So we are getting a message. No problem. Praveen, just share me the presentation in my Teams. I'll just put it. Let Raj speak. I can manage it. No problem. You're able to hear me. So 1 second, let me. So can you share the presentation to me, Raj? I can share it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just send it to me, maybe in WhatsApp or whatever.
Okay.
Send it to me. I'll
So
share.
I am. So Praveen, you have it via LinkedIn. I can send it to
Yeah.
you.
Anytime, anywhere. Just send it to me.
Yeah. So Praveen has it
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
in
Please share
the
me.
LinkedIn message he sent.
Okay, just send it to
Yes,
me.
sir. Please share to me.
Yeah. It is already there in
No,
LinkedIn.
just
I sent you as a message.
I need to have presentation, Praveen.
Yes, sir.
Are you
Did you get?
sharing
Sir, I did not
present
receive any PPT.
in LinkedIn?
Okay. Okay. So let me do this. Maybe I'll send it to you in WhatsApp also.
Send me, sir. Send me. Why it is not done?
Maybe it's bigger than what limits for LinkedIn are.
Maybe. Send it to my WhatsApp. I'll download it.
Okay, sir.
Nothing to send it to me. My WhatsApp is open anyways. Just
Okay.
send it to me. I'll just pull it.
So you should have it, Abdul.
Perfect. So let me share it. Yeah. So let me switch off my video. So and then I'll share it.
Sure.
Is there? Yeah. So let me put a slideshow. And then share the screen. Okay. I shared it. Can you see it?
I am not able to see it yet.
I think I shared it. It should come. A minute.
Maybe it'll just take a second for me to show up.
Yeah. Praveen, can you check it? You're able to see it? Can you see it? Not yet? Try. Share once again.
Oh, I lost it again. I could see it for a second.
Okay. So I just close it.
Okay.
Okay. I shared it again. Yeah.
Yes, I see it now.
Okay. All set. Yeah,
Wonderful.
please. Yeah. I'll just operate it. Just a minute.
Okay. So welcome, team. And if you look at the presentation today, the topic was strategic planning and execution in turbulent times. And my whole presentation is focused more not on the strategy planning piece of it, because most of the tools are there. And in the past sessions, we have done a lot of strategic planning discussion, but what to do differently in a turbulence time. That is the biggest topic, and that is the change. And especially me sitting in the US, this year has been a huge, huge, huge change for almost all the businesses with the new government and the new rules and regulations and the tariff and everything else. It has not just affected the US, it has affected every single country who does business with the US. So that's the reason why I wanted to go back and talk a little more on the turbulent times and how do you handle change and everything else. Because when you talk about strategic planning, a lot of you are very comfortable with that. You can talk about the blue ocean strategy. You can go back and look at Playing to Win by Laftley and Roger Martin. That's one of my favorite too, Playing to Win. If you get a chance, definitely read the book Playing to Win and use that strategy. I'm a big fan of that. A lot of people are already talking about the blue ocean, basically what I saw from the notes and everything else. So you can go back and use different methodologies. But what I want you to focus today and go and talk about is what is the outcome of a strategy plan, and then how can you go back and be comfortable with it in a turbulent time. So if you go to the next slide, Shin. So the first output we need from a strategy plan are some of those things. All of my strategic planning and all my businesses, I look at it from a 1 year time frame and a 3 year time frame. I always look at it from that perspective. And when you look at the leadership team need to focus 70% of their time and efforts, budgets on your 1 year goals, and about 20% of them on year 2 and 3, and about 10% beyond 3 years. That is something I read from one of the books, and I have been practicing this since 2014 and saw some outstanding results. And especially when you are in the current environment, especially from the US and we call them the VUCA environment. Let me talk about it in a second. Basically, in the VUCA environment, you having that focus is very, very critical. And the first thing I tell people is in the month of September, October, I want each one of the businesses to go back and have their strategy planning session. Depending on your size and the number of employees and the business you have, you might be spending 2 days or 3 days. Some businesses go for 5 days, that is perfectly fine, but a minimum of 2 days. And what would be the outcome when you finish the 2 days are what you see on the screen. The first piece of it is everybody very, very clear about the purpose of the organization. And when I tell people purpose of the organization is why are we doing this? And will we do this if there is no monetary or financial result out of it? That is where the passion of the business comes. Because a lot of people focus on money, but money is always a result of you executing something very, very well. So that's the reason why passion becomes very, very important. The second part of it is basically, are we very, very clear with what values we have in the company? So we called about the company culture. The company culture has three components to it. What are the values? What are the key accountabilities? And what are the norms of the company? A combination of that really helps you to go back and look at the culture of the organization. So every year you want to go back and review everything that you have in place and ensure that they're up to date. And then comes the vision piece of it. What is our vision? The vision is a futuristic goal. Sometimes people talk about a vision for 5 years, sometimes they talk for 20, 30 years. And that is where we call the BHAG comes. The BHAG, which is called Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal, is almost like 10 years to 30 years goal. We always want directionally need to understand and see where the company is going. We are planning for 1 year and 3 year, but you want to know the direction of it from a 10 to 20 years perspective. So both are very, very important. And every year you have to review that piece of it. And then I call it the playing field is your core competency. Where are you doing and what are you doing? And that is what I call the playing field. What does the playing field combine? The geographic areas that we serve. Who are our target customer segments? What are the products and services we are doing? And how are we going to the market there? All of those things has to be clarified. And then, as an organization, what is our value proposition to the people? And what is our brand promise? And last but not the least is the SWOT analysis. The SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So every year, every business, even if you are a business for just, let us say, 3 people or 5 people, taking and reviewing these elements and making sure that you are clear about that will really help you with the execution piece of it. The first year will be the toughest for us to go back and define all of those things. But once you do it the first year, every year after that becomes much more easier. So I recommend all of you to go back and look at it from a strategy plan and see if these are some things that are very, very clear among your leadership team and your employees. And then how do we execute on that? What are our 1 year goals and what are some of the key initiatives? The 1 year goals, now you're moving from a qualitative to a quantitative point of view. Those has to be measurable. They should be metrics or KPIs, whichever vocabulary you use, they have to be very, very clear. And then when you go back and look at the key initiatives, I always tell people from a 1 year perspective, the key initiative definition is that is a project you start and finish, and it will help you to get to your KPI. It will help you to reach your 1 year goals. Those has to be defined that way. One of the examples I can give you from one of my clients, they're a construction company. They started last year. So this is their second year in business. A lot of construction companies to evolve into a $5 million company, they work for at least 3 to 5 years. This company in the first year, because their planning and everything was so good, first year they closed approximately at 5.8 million. The second year, they're already planning for a 10 million closure. The reason is 6 months even before they started, they went through this whole process and they could go back and identify everything. So you want to be very, very clear. What are my 1 year goals and what are the key initiatives I need to do that? Then you want to look at it and say, what are my 3 year goals? Again, quantifiable. You want to quantify your goals. And here you want to go back and identify key focus areas. And that is the difference. Key initiatives start and finish in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, but never more than a year. Key focus areas, they might be multi-year plans, multi-year strategies, because now you're looking at it from a 3 year horizon. And once you have these two things clearly articulated, now you divide that into your Q1. Q1 is quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. The years of business, the business year is different from different countries and different regions. That's the reason why I use Q1. So the way I understand is Q1 in India is starting in April, but Q1 in the US starts in January. So you go back and look at your business year, and that should be the first quarter, then the second quarter. This part has to be very clear. Everybody has to be very, very comfortable before they do anything else. So every year, the more clarity the team, the leadership team, and the employees are, it becomes very easy for the execution piece of it. You have basically qualitative and quantitative measurements for this. Next slide, please. And now comes the VUCA environment. Whenever we talk about turbulent times, we use the word VUCA here. What does VUCA stands for? It is a very, very volatile market. There's so much of uncertainty in the market. And when the uncertainty and the volatility comes the complexity. And when you have all three, there is very, very ambiguous. There may not be a right answer. What do we need to do? So from the US perspective, basically the discussions about the tariffs was big. 10%, 25%, 60%, 80%. This country is this, that country is this. All of that creates chaos for a lot of people. So what happens is, until now, you spend time with your September and say, Raj, we just spent so much time on the planning. Is all of that out the window? No, we start with SMART goals. Everything we spoke about the September strategy planning, those are all SMART goals. You need to always start with SMART goals. You need to put a stake on the ground and say, this is what we want to accomplish. And now you look at it from a VUCA perspective, and slowly you start moving your SMART goals into FAST goals. And what does FAST goals mean? Basically, they're frequently discussed. F stands for frequently discussed. Then basically A stands for they're ambitious but achievable. They're very, very specific. and they're very, very transparent. Next slide, please. So when you go back and look at it, the outcome, when I was talking to you about qualitative and quantitative, I was talking about small goals. What does the acronym SMART stands for? They're very, very specific. They are measurable. They are achievable. They're very, very relevant to you, and they're time bound as well. So those 5 elements has to be met for it to be a SMART goal. So every time you work on your strategy plan, make sure that you don't leave your meeting, 2-day meeting, 1-day meeting, 3-day meeting, it doesn't matter what it is. You're always focused and make sure you're coming up with SMART goals for it. And once you have the starting point, then the VUCA environments focuses on and makes it more into fast goals. It is much easier to start with SMART and then make them fast goals. Next slide, please. So this is what happens when you go back and talk about frequently discussed, right? Every company discussion, especially the leadership team, the top 3, 5, 10, 20 people, depending on how big your organization is, they have to constantly be going back and having ongoing review and discussions. One of the things I implemented this year for some of the companies is we are going back and doing a SWOT analysis every time we hear something new. And people should be familiar by now with SWOT analysis. If not, definitely please understand. SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And most of the businesses do SWOT analysis in a vacuum. My question to all of you and suggestion for all of you is to maximize the results. I want you to do it specific to your goals. So when you do this annual strategy planning, you want to look at it from your 1-year goals and do a SWOT analysis and say, what are my strengths to accomplish my 1-year goals? What are my weaknesses that will not allow me to go back and accomplish my 1-year goals? What are some of the opportunities that I need to leverage? And what are some of the threats that I need to mitigate? So when you're answering the specific 4 questions within the 1-year framework, your results and outcomes are very, very specific and they're much more actionable. And there's a lot of clarity among the team members what to do next. And the second component of that piece of it would be is the 3-year goals. Do the same thing with it. That would give you so much of clarity. Now you take that and now instead of looking at it once a quarter, depending on your business, depending on the VUCA environment, you might be looking at these goals on a weekly basis. I remember from the 2008 to 2012 when there was a huge financial crisis in the US and worldwide recession as well. There were days where we were looking at businesses from a weekly and a daily purpose. What is the new information that is coming in and how does it affect us? Because money was so scarce and everything was so much in turmoil that we were looking at things on a daily and a weekly basis. So some businesses they can survive with a monthly, but some businesses, sensitive information and things like that, you have to go back and look at it on a weekly basis as well. And that is what it is. So it really provides the information from the environment and everything else, provide guidance for your key decisions. It keeps the employees focused on what the key things are. What is the most important thing? Keep the important thing important. That is what this discussion's done. If not, what happens is if the communication is not very good and the employees are not very clear, it creates a lot of confusion. It creates a lot of frustration, creates a lot of ambiguity among employees, and your productivity goes down. So you are looking at your specific goals, SMART goals, and now you're discussing around it and making them fast goals. And the second is we still need to be ambitious because the VUCA environment creates a lot of issues for people. I'll give you, there is a retailer, basically they planned to go back and be a $45 million revenue company this year. But come January, basically as soon as they heard there is a 25% tariff on all the products they're importing for their manufacturing, basically they work with about 15 to 18%. Now 25% they're going to be in the red. So they had to go back and change a lot of things. And they were at a feverish. The month of Jan and February, we were talking almost like every other day, trying to go back and mitigate different things. What are the different sources? What can we do differently? Working with the end customer, working with the manufacturers, working with the distributors. And all 4 of those things came. Come March 1st, there were a lot of things we changed. So instead, this year, the profitability of the business, instead of saying that I will make a profitability of 15 to 18, they went back and said, if I make about 4 to 5%, we'll be very happy. That was the change. We had a specific goal, but working with them and looking at it from Jan and February, it was reduced and said, we are going to work with 5%. And that 5% is only possible because we got the vendors involved, we got the customer involved, we got everybody involved in the discussions, and that was streamlined. And that is what you need to go back and focus on. So still we want to be a profitable. In this environment, everybody said, hey, we can't make money. But we went back and said, no, it is still possible. And we looked at all the elements for it. And that is the ambitious piece of it. And now we took all of those things and we made it very, very specific. See, remember I was talking about 15, 18% profit, now 5% profit. That is the specificity of it. Because now employees know what they need to shoot for and what they need to work for. And then the fourth piece of it is transparency. Every team is accountable for their own. When you go back and look at it from your KPIs or OKRs, whatever methodology you're using, you have different metrics to come with. Different departments have different metrics. So you want all of those to be transparent. One, it will help everybody to understand everybody else's department's challenges and opportunities. And two, it will have a friendly competition among teams saying that, are we delivering what it is? So the accountability goes up. So the summary of this is start with your SMART goals in whatever environment you want, and then bring in the FAST methodology to go back and work with it. Next slide, please. And this is one of the biggest things. Whenever we have a VUCA environment and stuff, the first thing I tell people is change or die. Alan Dushman, basically, he's an author, and there is a beautiful book. I think it was written in 2006 or 7 on the title Change or Die. I started using this after I read his book, and that is where it came from. And Charles Darwin, from the 17th century in France, basically, he said it is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. So as a leadership team, are we comfortable with change? Are we willing to go back and change the things and work towards that? So the biggest message for all of the leaders is how are we adapting to the new information? How are we shifting ourselves based on the new information and working towards that? So one of the things the VUCA and FAST goals will help us is they will start focusing on us and saying, are we thinking differently? Are we acting differently? Are we leading differently? And this is where the resiliency piece of it comes into picture, and that resiliency will help that. So even if you go back and look at the 1.5 year of the pandemic, right? A lot of businesses lost money. But there are almost like 30 to 35% of the businesses, at least I know, who have grown their business from 30 to 50%, 60%. The reason is they were looking at the situation and saying, how am I thinking changing? How am I acting differently, and how am I leading so that I can go back and take advantage of the situation as well? So there are businesses who have grown if you go back and look at it from the pandemic point of view. And that is what the leadership has to do. And moving to the FAST goals will really help you to go back and create that mindset. The next one, please. And what we want to go back and look at it, right? When we're talking about change, I want each one of you to think about it and say, don't just look at the actions and the behaviors and saying that. You really need to make fundamental shifts here. That is what the FAST goal is all about. That is what the change mindset is. You want to go back and change the belief systems, and based on the new beliefs, what are the assumptions you are making? If you really look at strategic planning, what is strategic planning? You are going back and saying that this is my strategy, I will be there based on what your past experiences are and what are your assumptions are and the research and the data. But all of it is coming from your known truths, which is your belief system and your assumptions. But when it comes to change, people want to only change on actions. And that has to change forever. And whenever you are in a VUCA environment, you need to be very, very clearly understanding that. A simple example is, hey, going back and telling your salespeople and meeting them and saying, hey, do more sales, make more phone calls. That is taking and working with their actions. But if you really go back and say, are all of these people the right people we want to work with? So we need to go back to our belief system and say, hey, these are the clients that we are working with. Should we change the segment of the client we want to go after? Should we go back and work with a smaller client or a different client? Then move our assumptions to that and then start focusing on that piece of it. If you keep on telling, make more phone calls, you may not see the results you want. And that is what I'm talking about, the belief system and the assumptions piece of it. So whenever you have this kind of an environment, you want to go back and make an assumption of what are my beliefs and are my known truths. And based on that, do I need to change my assumptions? You look at those two combination, then your mindset changes. Once the mindset changes, new opportunities come. Resiliency comes. That will help us to grow our business and scale our business. Next slide, please. And this is what happens when we go back and set up a strategy plan and really come out of that, everybody's feeling great. It feels like an highway. Hey, I can put on my car and I can drive 80 miles, 100 miles, 100 kilometers, whatever mileage it is, and everything will be smooth sailing. But as soon as you put the VUCA mindset and the environment is very different, you have the messy middle. There are people who are still going to reach there, but there are going to be a lot of detours. There are going to be a lot of challenges. So success will not be very easy as what the planning is. And that's the reason why, if you look at the data from Harvard and some of the universities and stuff, basically 28% of your success is strategy. 72% of it is execution. Because the path to success is in the execution. Because a lot of people don't know how to handle the messy middle. So I want each one of you to think and saying, you can do all the best strategy planning and stuff, but that is only attributing to 30% of you to this thing. 70% is execution. And the more you can focus on execution, the easier it is for you to go back and work with. Next slide, please. So whenever the VUCA environment comes, basically a lot of people, a lot of leaders goes back and their immediate mindset is, hey, why is this happening to me? That is the old mindset. And that is the most common mindset. What I recommend all of you to do is go back and change that. Change the mindset to, what is this trying to teach me? And once you start going back and changing your mindset to, what is this trying to teach me? You are in that change mode. You are willing to listen. We are willing to learn. And that is the game changer for you and your leadership team. If you are a CEO, if you are the managing director, if you are the president of the company, this becomes huge for you and your team members. You need to start working on that piece of it. Next slide, please. So these are some 5 foundational leadership skills and entrepreneur skills which will work very well in regular leadership, but especially it will be very powerful when you are in a VUCA environment. You are in a turbulent market like what we are today. Continuously learning, unlearning, and relearning. What has worked for us 2 years ago might not work today. That is what we saw during the pandemic. And now with the whole AI revolution, things are changing drastically. I was talking to one of my mentors, and one of the things he said was, Raj, if you're not spending 2 hours really learning everything about AI, because I'm not a technology person, I'm not very, very familiar with that. He said, you need to read as much as possible. And he was challenging me for the next 1 year, read 2 hours every single day on AI and AI related activities. And in about 6 to 12 months, you'll be very, very comfortable with how you can take it and adapt it. And for some of the new people getting into the market and today, for them, it becomes so huge. If they are not comfortable with AI, they don't understand AI, they are going to miss out big time on their careers. So continuously learn, unlearn, and relearn is the mantra we need to go after. And we need to value yesterday. Like I said, even from your SWOT analysis and everything else, we want to look at all the strengths coming from yesterday. But we need to evaluate it, everything, and we live in the today's environment piece of it. And that is what living in the present, living in the today. Today, if I'm not using AI, if I'm not using ChatGPT or one of the tools that there, I am not really leveraging the productivity of it. Some are using it a little bit, some are using, but most of the people are using it. So you need to become an expert. If you're not using it, you are being behind. And the third piece of it is we want to rely on speed, but timing is very critical. If you look at the history and on the future, there's so many products. They were there before time. They were so fast and they bought to the market beforehand. They had superior quality, but the timing was not right and the products failed in the market. So we want to have the speed, we want to have the urgency around it, but make sure that the timing is right to go back and implement those things. So we need to be very, very careful from that point of view. And remember from the VUCA, the ambiguity perspective, a lot of people freeze during the ambiguity stage. That is what it is. So at least directionally, remember I was telling you, you need to have your BHAG 10 to 30 year goal. That will give you the direction and tell you which way we need to go. And now, even though there is a lot of uncertainty, you want to really take one or two steps courageously closer to that piece. I always tell people about driving in the night. If you have a good car and you're driving in the night, you know you are going to reach the destination. But if you really look at it, you can only look for the next 50 to 100 feet. The headlight, whatever the power of your headlights of your car or Jeep are, that is the only thing you need. But since you know the destination, which is my BHAG, the 20-year goal or 30-year goal, and I'm able to see the next 50 to 100 feet, I am moving courageously. And that is the same analogy we need to bring to our business, bring it to our strategy piece of it. And last but not the least is that today's best will not meet tomorrow's challenges. If you look at people who are content writers, who are developing content, who are writing ghost writers, all of those people, a lot of them are really struggling today. Some people who have changed and adapted, they're doing very, very well. But a lot of people are struggling who have not adapted because ChatGPT, AI, and all the other tools are replacing a lot of those people. If they're not very good at it, if they're not very creative at it, basically tomorrow they will not be in business. That's a great example for you. And in the next 2 years, so many different models are going to come. And if they don't adapt AI into our lives, we will be having a similar situation. So these are the 5 things. General leadership, they're great, but especially in the volatile environment we are and turbulent times, this becomes huge. The leadership team who has all of these 5 elements into their planning and thought process and mindset, they are going to be very, very good at it. Next slide, please. And this is one of the beautiful, beautiful things I read. There is a beautiful book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. This is a summary from that. And I've really encouraged each one of the leaders to look at it. So what happens is most of the people are in the fixed mindset. And that's okay. If they are followers, they're your employees, and they're in the fixed mindset, that is perfectly fine. But from a leadership perspective, who are responsible for strategy, who are responsible for execution of the strategy, they need to have a growth mindset. And what are the 6 elements from that piece of it? The first element is focus on learning. Always keep on asking the right questions and saying, what is this trying to teach me? How is that? What can we take from it? What can we learn from it and stuff? Second, be very proactive with challenges. Seek challenges. Let us go back and say, hey, let us try this. At the most, we'll fail and we'll learn something and then we can change again. And the third piece of it is don't be standstill. Hey, this process is working great. Let us not change it. No, keep on saying, what can I do differently? Continuous improvement. I like the word continuous and never ending improvement. That is one of the things should be in the mindset of all those people. And if there is a setback, if there is a failure, that's perfectly fine. What can we learn from it? What is this trying to teach me? And then move on from there. And sometimes we may not see the results immediately. And that's okay. If we are putting the right efforts in the right direction, eventually the results will come. For some, it is much faster, some it may not be there. But directionally, if you feel like you're moving in the right direction, appreciate the effort, appreciate the time that you're putting into that piece of it, because ultimately it'll give you that. And this is the last piece I tell a lot of people miss out is learn from other successes. Work with mentors, coaches, peer groups, masterminds, whatever group you have. Please leverage the group and learn from each other. Just to give you an idea, I have a mastermind I have been part of since almost 2014. Every week we meet for 30 minutes to 1 hour. I have learned so much from the group in the last 11 years. And I know some groups have been there for over 15 to 20 years. So who is your group? Who are the people you are working with? and how can you leverage their successes. And when I say leverage the successes, reading and spending a few minutes on LinkedIn and reading a 2 minutes or 4 minutes video on basically this, no. You're looking at this like 1 hour sessions. Like I really love what Abdul Khader created this piece of it. He's making sure that everybody's talking for 45 minutes to 60 minutes because that will really help people to get into the details. If it is a 2 minute reel or a 5 minute reel, yes, it is great. It feels good, but nobody can change anything after listening to a 2 minute or a 5 minute thing. But 45 minutes, you got some tools. You pick up something and you can implement something so that you can change what you're doing. So please think of these 6 elements and see how you can work with it. And that will really help you to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. The next slide, please. And this is one of the things which is very, very important. And I call it a cadence. Go to the next slide. I call it growth as a process. And from a strategy point of view, you need to have a calendar. We have a calendar for looking at our KPIs, looking at our monthly goals, sales goals. Basically, if you look at your revenue, if you look at profitability, all of those businesses do that. But are you really looking at it from a strategy and you really have the strategy as a process? And this is one thing all of my small businesses work with, and they have very, very successfully implemented and they grow very, very well. So if you look at it, right, in the month of January, what I tell people, all of my thing is they do 2 things. All the department and function leaders, they go back and do what we call SPR. What is it? What is SPR? Strategic Performance Review. What is a strategic performance review? Look at the last 12 months. We have a beautiful procedure which I can communicate on one of the future days because we don't have the time today. But what it is you go back and systematically evaluate by every department. Hey, what are some of the things? This is what we set our goals to be. How was our performance? If you had an outstanding year, why did you go back and we were successful this year? If we missed something, why did we miss and what can we learn? Those are the 2 things that you want to go back and work with. And you always want to capture that. People have a failure, they go focus on that and say, hey, what can I learn from it? But when people have a success, they don't go back and look at it from the success point of view. And that is one of the things is they're missing a great opportunity to learn and how do they go back and replicate it with others. And the second part of it is this is in the month of Jan. So you have your 1 year goals and 3 year goals. You want to review again in the month of Jan and say, hey, can I really execute this? So if you look at this year, at least from the US markets, that is very good because the strategy execution review, the execution review is all about, can I go back and what are the risks of meeting my strategic plan this year? So all my clients had to work in January, February, March, fixing a lot of those things because there were so many risks because the tariff increased. Anytime a business has 20 to 30%, 40% increase in that, it really creates chaotic for them from a planning perspective. So the SER, execution review, was huge. And all of that was from a profit margin and from a customer point of view. It's not very easy for companies to go back and give it to the distributors, for the distributors to give it to the end wholesalers, and basically the customers are willing to pay for it. There are so many consequences in the whole supply chain piece of it. So both of those things at a department level, you need to do that in the month of Jan. And then we look at all the best practices, and in the month of February, you share it to everybody else so that everybody can learn from it and they can start implementing so that they can make the current year and the future years excellent. You see that we don't have anything in March because in the March, you're doing your whole financial Q1 review and saying, how are we doing it? And if you look at it from April, you start thinking about your 3 years. Because 70% of your time is focused on your 1 year, but remember the 20 and 10% is the future years. And in the April, what you start looking at it is, hey, what do I want to be in the next 1 year and the 3 years? And what are some of the new ideas, thoughts? So it is a brainstorming session for you in the month of April. Start looking at different ideas, looking at this thing, different departments coming, hey, we need to work on this. We need to get into this new market. We need to go back and acquire a company, whatever those are. You start thinking about it. And in the month of May, you look at all of your ideas and you go back and say, let us shortlist a few things. Let us say there are 3 to 5 ideas which are very, very good. You want to take those and finalize those 5 ideas. The next slide, please. And what we do in the month of June and July is, I always tell people, and this is my recommendation for you if you have students who are interns, I try to go back and get MBA students for this who have finished their bachelor's, worked for 3, 4 years, and now they're working on their MBA and they finished 1 year. If they have done their bachelor's and no experience to master's, they really don't have a real life experience, so that'll be difficult for them. So they may struggle with that. So get somebody who have done a bachelor's degree, worked for 2, 3 years in the industry, and went back for their MBA. Bring those people and give them a 10 weeks, 12 weeks assignment. So in the summer, they're always looking for projects. They're looking for internships. They're looking for some money to make before they go back to the second year. And these will be great projects for them. So you bring them for 8 to 10 weeks, and then you go back and tell them, this is the project. These are the 5 ideas. We want you to do the research and come back. So by the end of July or August first week, these people go back, give us the results of their research. Hey, this is a good feasible project. This is the investment is required. This is the market. They're doing all of the new market study. So if it is a new market development, they do the NMD study, new market development. If it is a new product introduction, they'll go back and do an NPI session. So depending on what it is and stuff. And they will live, and now that is the information that will come on to you, and you'll start working with that information. So if you go back and look at it, come October, you have finalized all of the details, you finalized all of your goals, you have finalized the budgets, and everything is ready to go. And in December, you're communicating to everybody, all the budgets, everything else. So the team is ready on January 1st. When they come back for January 1st, boom, they go back and take action. They're not wasting January and February. Hey, what do we want to accomplish this year? So this is the kind of the sequence we want to go back and work with. And what happens? Every year, if you start doing systematically, your leadership team, your employees, everybody is used to it. And that's how, if you do all of this consistently every year, what happens? Your business grows. That is where growth becomes a process. So you can have growth as a process. That is what we call this. And this calendar is one of the main tools which we created for all of our clients. Next slide, please. So whenever you go back and look at it, right, especially the leadership team has to be very, very clear from an execution perspective. And every meeting you have it, these are the questions I want your leadership team to talk about. Do we all know what is most important? So if you're having a weekly meeting, do we all know what is the clear thing? What is the most important thing we need to do next week? If it is a monthly meeting, what is the most important thing we need to do the next month? And the second piece of it, sometimes a lot of people, some people will believe, some people don't. So do we all believe in the goals, and do we want to accomplish them? If everybody is not believing in it and everybody doesn't want to achieve them, then you'll have a problem. At least the leadership team, the core team has to be on one page. And that's the reason why you're asking these questions. And the leadership should be so comfortable talking to each other and saying is, hey, do we really want to accomplish them or not? Are we putting the time? Are we putting the effort, energy around these things? And the third question comes is, now, do we know how to make it happen? Do we know what are the next steps? Do we know how to go back and accomplish these goals? And the fourth question is, what are some of the challenges? Sometimes it might be like, hey, I really don't have the talent in my team, or I don't have the technology to go back and accomplish this. Those are the things we need to go back and look at it and see what are the barriers and how do we move them. And the next piece of it is, are we really going back and working with each other? Whenever I talk about synergy, I always think of one of the greatest authors, Stephen R. Covey. He says 1 + 1 is 3, not 1 + 1 is 2. That is what it is. When everybody is working very well and they're effectively working and helping each other out, then the synergy is so high that you can get more than double the effort. And that is what we want. And last but not the least is accountability. Accountability is, are we reporting results to one another regularly? Are we holding each other accountable? Are we comfortable with that piece of it? And these questions should be there. And we need to have an ongoing rhythm from a project or a leadership team for follow-up and follow-through. Every single meeting, when we're talking about strategy, when we're talking about execution, these 6 questions should be asked to make sure. And some of the people will go back, and I hear a lot of people say, Raj, this is like a broken record. I said, if we are still not accomplishing, I will stop using these words until we exceed our goals. If we are not exceeding our goals, we are missing something in this. And that is what I tell the leadership team to go back and focus on. Next slide, please. And again, these are some of the questions basically for each one of you to look at it. See this strategy performance review, strategy execution review. See, these are all the critical review questions, reflection questions for everybody on the leadership team. They're thinking about it during the week. They're coming prepared to ask questions or ask for help. And this is a good checklist. I have almost like 50, 60, depending on the situation. We have a different list, but I just gave what are the 10 most important things that I would recommend for most of small and medium sized businesses and entrepreneur led. So everything I'm talking about is from an entrepreneurship perspective and small and medium sized companies. That is where I work with a lot of people. I help them a lot. So I'm giving you all of those things. It is applicable across every industry, but much more relevant to the small and the medium sized companies. Next slide, please. So this is what I would tell each one of you who's listening to this or you follow through and stuff. I really want you to go back, pay attention to what you just heard, and then take a few minutes to reflect and say, what are some of the things I learned from this? Even if you just learned one or two, that is perfectly fine. I want you to go back and really put what did you learn from there? And then the second question is, what am I changing tomorrow? Because if you don't change, if you don't take action, this becomes only a movie. You're not doing anything else. What happens in a movie? We go to a movie, we watch it, we enjoy it, good or bad. After that, we forget about it. Don't use this as that. There's a lot of information that you can go back and use in your day to day from your job perspective, from your business perspective, from a strategy perspective. And the third piece of it, I always tell people is once you do the first two things very well, identify two people. It can be somebody in your business, somebody outside the business. It doesn't matter. Go back and share what you have learned and what you're implementing. This is where your accountability comes. Go back and tell somebody and say, hey, this is what I learned. This is what I'm doing about it. And I really wanted to share with you. And if you are comfortable with it, ask them, hey, can you please ask me the question in 2 weeks and say how the results are? That is the accountability piece of it. And this is applicable for not just strategy, for anything you learn, because you're going through so many wonderful speakers between today and tomorrow. So each one of the session has some very, very valuable things. So take this piece of it, work with them, and look at each presentation and do the same thing. And that is when you become experts in this and you maximize the value you're getting from it. Next slide, please. And this is something I want everybody to go back. I addressed this already, but if you go back and look at it, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. That was the past. But those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Alvin did a great job. I really love him. And this is my mantra for my leadership team. I coach a lot of CEOs, entrepreneurs, and business leaders across the globe. And I tell them, if you're not doing learning, unlearning, and relearning, you're done with your career. So I want each one of you listening to this. If you don't have anything you got from this, that is perfectly fine. Just think of this. Every week, take 2 minutes and say, did I learn something new? If not, go back and spend an hour or two and learn, because the resources to learn are huge. Just take a general chat GPT and say, hey, can you teach me about strategy? Can you teach me about this? Put a couple of tools and at least it'll give you some information. And the second piece of it is there something that I'm using that I need to stop? That is the unlearning piece of it. So every week, take a few minutes, do some unlearning, do some relearning piece of it. Improve at least by 0.1%. Because if you improve every single day by 0.1%, in a year, you can become 37x better than that. 37 times powerful than when you started in 1 year. That is how powerful the power of incremental learning and growth comes into picture. The next slide, please. And this is what very, very important for me. Learning is defined as a change in your behavior. So if you have not changed anything, and if you look at the reflection point, I said, what are you changing tomorrow? Today is Friday, so think about it for Saturday and Sunday, and Monday when you are at work, change something. You haven't learned a thing until you have taken action and you use it. So on Monday, if you're not changing anything, if you're not using anything else, then you have not got anything. You have not learned anything. There is no value added for you and your career or your company. I'm being very, very straight, direct, candid with you guys. And the second piece of it is everybody is free to choose. But the choices you make today will determine what will you have, be, and do in the tomorrow of your life. So if you take the time, look at all the presentations, learn from them, practice them, do the three-step process of reflection and teaching somebody, and you do that consistently, if you go back and look at it in the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, you will start seeing the positive effects and the growth piece of it. You will start developing your growth mindset. So that is pretty much what I had. Instead of talking about strategy, I was talking about how can you be resilient? How can you be changing so that you can go back and work in the environment which we are today, the VUCA environment, or basically anything else you go talk about it. So that is where I am, and that is what I had for all of you. I would love to go back and answer any questions if we have time.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so very impactful session, Rajesh. Okay, so
Thank
I think
you.
I'm not sure you had a breakfast or not still, but so energetic in the morning.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I love to go back and teach the people because those are so powerful and it has helped so many businesses really change their businesses from failing to really becoming profitable in a very short time.
Very insightful. Basically, what I understand from your lecture is you need to have a discipline. Okay,
Yes.
the main thing. If you don't have discipline, whatever you are trying to do and you plan it and other thing, so you need to have a discipline to do things properly.
Yes.
Otherwise, there is a chance that you pass the time, you miss the bus. So
Yes.
very nicely you have explained. I think you made it a little simpler, made it
Yes.
easy, not too complicated methodologies kind of thing. Very practical approach. So
Yes.
very interesting. I really enjoy always whenever I hear. So I see that the encouragement to the industrialists and organizations it's going to keep on increasing from your
Sure.
side.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's a great session. So if there is any questions, I think there is any questions from the audience, we'll take it up. hmm Okay. So basically, uh, while you explain, you also explain all the key points. Okay. So you already explained it. Okay.
Sure.
So you really take us through the process. It's not you did not leave anything for open. Okay,
Yes.
so one key takeaway what I see is it's not about small company or big size or large. You need to have a set of timelines. What you do
Yes.
in the set of years. So that will, yeah, initially it looks little odd, but
Yes.
once you are used to it, then whole organization sticks to that schedule, and then it's very easy to focus on the growth pattern. So that is
Yes.
fantastic approach. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sheikh, basically, I have seen my own clients in the last 10 years from a $20 million business significantly growing to almost 300 million in the last 10 years, which is significant growth over the last 10 years.
Great.
And basically, for them, the first year was the toughest one because going through the process, having the discipline, like you were talking about, that was the biggest challenge. Second year, they were very comfortable. And now it is completely in their system and culture. They just do it. Come January, they already have a scheduled meeting 3 months before. And in
Hmm.
January, they spend a whole day on SCR and SPR, execution review, performance review. Then
Excellent.
February, the meetings are scheduled. March, the meetings are scheduled. So they already know how to go back and spend that 20% and 10% on the strategy throughout the year. And that has given them the leverage piece of it.
Excellent. Excellent. And talking about VUCA environment at this point of time is very relevant. So it's not
Yes,
only in US, of course, US there is a tremendous change going on. I think
yes,
everywhere across the globe, there is one way or other change is going on for good or bad, whatever. Okay.
yes,
So
exactly.
everybody, especially the organizations, need to be alert at this point of time, and then plan.
Yes,
The fittest
yes.
will be the survival. Great, sir. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
wonderful lecture. And then I take this as an opportunity to thank you on behalf of participants and then the organizers. Thank you very much for joining all the
Thank
way.
you very much, Sheikh. And for all the audience, if you want, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message wherever it is. No issues at all. And I love to go back and talk and share whatever information I can share.
Sure, sure.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, if there is any questions, we will post you offline. Okay,
Sure.
so Raj is very happy to answer them and connect them. If you want to talk to him, we'll just try to connect you. No problems.
Sure.
Okay, so we will do that. So thank you, Rajesh.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a great
Thank you.
day. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon if you are in Europe or somewhere in Africa. So I take this as an opportunity to thank one and all to enjoy the session today. I would. This was the last session, and but it was a fantastic session where we learned a lot from Raj. So whenever he speaks with the same rigor, so which I truly enjoy. Okay, so we had around 9 sessions today. 9 sessions today. Excellent topics. So we started with Ravi Ramanathan talking about strategy analysis driven by AI, followed by Muhammad Sheikh. He talked about design thinking for the strategy formulation, and I was talking about strategy analysis and formulation, step by step approach using through strategy. Then Mustafa Hebbasi was talking about business transformation, and then Brian was talking about business model refresh. Okay. Alex Milovonic was talking about formulating strategies in VUCA world. So he took us 9-step approach. Alan Fell talking about leadership in strategy management. Andrew Constable was talking about blue ocean strategy. Now Rajesh just finished the strategy planning and execution in turbulent times for entrepreneurs. It's a mostly a lecture for advice. So I'm very happy that we sponsored this event. True Strategy is an enterprise strategy management solution. Gives an end-to-end solution for strategy analysis, strategy formulation, organizational alignment, and strategy execution. So it helps you right from doing assessments to analysis, formulation part, coming to your value proposition, whatever you have just heard, analysis, everything is there inside. Okay, so Flu Strategy, the main idea about Flu Strategy is to help you to automate all your strategy management process to the maximum possible. It does not replace your human thinking, but it help you to build a discipline on top of it. And the AI layer in Flu Strategy definitely help you to get the power of AI to support you in the strategy management. So I thank you one and all for the whole day. It has been a long day, 8 hours. So I thank you. And tomorrow, join at 10 a.m. IST for the execution strategy execution. The theme tomorrow is a strategy execution, and we have around 9 speakers left talking tomorrow. Excellent. Almost all are from different countries. So it will be fantastic day tomorrow. So look forward to see you again tomorrow. So thank you and have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.